It's 10 a.m. in the morning in San Diego, California, and Amal Jubran is starting on a journey halfway across the globe to Gaza, Palestine. The reason for her trip is a 7-year-old girl named Farah. Farah was only 3 years old when Amal first met her in the most challenging circumstances. Farah was injured in a bomb attack on her home in Gaza, and her path crossed with Amal, leading to a relationship that can be given no name. Yet Amal finds herself on a plane bound for Gaza, a difficult journey to a dangerous destination, something perhaps only a mother could do for her child. My name is Farheen Omar, and like Amal, I also live in San Diego. When I met Amal some years ago and decided to follow her story, I had no idea it would lead to this extraordinary journey. Farah lived with her family in a small town called Beit Lahia on the outskirts of Gaza. Her town is on the border with Israel. And in 2009, during a military attack on Gaza called Operation Cast Lead, a phosphorus shell hit Farah's home.
They were burned by the white phosphors. The mother was seriously wounded, and other people were killed. We were 18 people here. All of us gathered in this dark place here. Suddenly we heard a powerful sound. Shell hit the roof. Only I and another one came out, succeeded to make their way out. What can you do? He was asking, what can you do for this young girl who is suffering from phosphorus burns? So he was asking if you can help at least to secure medical treatment outside Gaza for her.
An American organization called Palestine Children Relief Fund was successful in bringing Farah to San Diego for free treatment.
We went to a PCR meeting and they were discussing Farah coming to the United States. I called Hiam the next day and told her that I would like to host Farah.
She is a child who was injured on January 4th of this year, 2009, during the Israeli assault on the Gaza Strip. 3 of her uncles were killed. Her mother eventually died, having gone to Egypt with the child for medical treatment and dying there. And most of the family was injured as well, including Farah, who suffered significant third-degree burns all over her body. So the family was destroyed, basically. Her grandmother has suffered a terrible loss. Her husband was killed, 3 of her sons were killed, and 1 of her daughters was killed. So she's in enormous emotional pain, as one can imagine.
مستحية بعدها مستحية أتصفي.
وين أختك آية فرح؟
وين أختي؟
فرح
بغزة؟
تروح على آية فرح؟
She felt uncomfortable and confused. First of all, from her long trip from Gaza to San Diego. Actually, on Tuesday, we have a first appointment with her doctor, and he's going to see her for the first time. After that, he will decide how many surgeries she needs. But absolutely, she needs more than 1 surgery because it's a severe burn. We contacted Dr. Patra. He is a skin specialist who volunteered his services to treat kids. And luckily, he agreed to treat Farah for free.
You could have the grandmother just pull her head back and I'll take her.
ارفعي وجهها لفوق.
Yeah, let's take a look.
شوف بدي نصورك يا ست عشان نجي عشان ابص لها بدي يلا.
Okay. You put balloons in under the skin and you fill them up over time, and then they stretch the normal skin out, and then you cut out some of the burn scar. Once you put tissue expanders in, she's going to probably have to come in every week or 2 weeks and you know, we have to put a needle in there to fill fluid up, and that's going to be a tough thing for her, but then expand her every time she comes in until there's enough new skin available that we can cut out some of that burn tissue and, you know, make things look better.
The next time I meet Farah, she is no longer staying with her first host family and has moved in with Amal Jubran, a retired nurse.
Is she staying with you now? Yeah.
Amal is getting Farah ready for her first surgery, and I can see that Farah has quickly become very comfortable under her care. Amal is settled with her family in the US since 1982, but she is originally from Haifa, a city in northern Israel. She is Christian by faith and Arab by ethnicity.
Born in Haifa, the oldest of 4 children. My dad, actually, he is from Lebanon, Protestant school, and from them I went to the high school, the Greek Orthodox high school. I decided to be a nurse when I was 16. See somebody walking into the hospital, and he was my sweetheart that time. And I was busy 16 hours a day taking care of these patients, and he said, I'm coming here, we get married. 5 weeks later, we get married, immigrate to the United States. I was here in 1982, Christmas time. I had 3 kids. Since my kids grow up, I can rely on them to feed themselves. I volunteer with a mission abroad. Before Thanksgiving, I was at the church when Ibrahim, my friend, came to me. He said, did you get a note about there is a child with a grandma here?
At the door.
Open door.
Please. Yes.
Please open door.
I just done.
Okay. I brought the child and the grandma to my house. At the beginning, she was stubborn. If she sit there, she wanted everything there. And if you told her to pick what she dropped, she refused. And she stand there. She wanted always the lights on. Don't close door. Don't turn the lights off. Don't sleep by herself. Lucky, I can feel the difference. And some friends coming back, visit us from time to time, they can tell me she is getting better.
Come play. Jump, play.
Amal's husband and daughter also quickly became involved in taking care of Farah.
She was about the 3rd or 4th one we had. But Farah was a very unique child, especially after what she went through, all these tragedies she went through. We pretty much fell in love with her the very first day we saw her. I was there, I guess, playing the role of father for Farah and whatever she needs and whatever my wife wants. Farah was very timid when she came here, and I guess the tragedy was still fresh in her mind. You probably can hear now the airplane going by. That used to scare her. Probably remind her with the tragedy, and that faded with time. As the time progressed, she got used to the house, she got used to the family and everybody here, and she felt very comfortable. And she became a member of our family.
When Farah first came to us, her state of mind at that time, she was very isolative and a little bit, although she was very personable, you could tell that she had her guard up. She wasn't sure what was to come, where she was going to be moved to, or what will happen to her the next day. Very, very quickly, she became very open with us. She started to smile and to laugh and to be very attached to us as well.
Only a few days after Farah moved to Amal's home, her grandmother became very ill and had to leave for Egypt as her treatment could not be done here, leaving Farah alone in the care of Amal. With her only family member gone, I was concerned about how Farah would cope. But when I met her at the time of her first surgery, she seemed very content.
So Hayama, since the grandmother left, has she been okay with the family?
No problem. She is very easy to go.
Yeah.
And she adopts any situation easily. She understands. She's very smart, very enjoyable to deal with. If you explain to her, she will ask so many questions. You give her the right answer, and she will accept it, and she will move on. 90%, that's by the doctors, the surgeon, 90% of her bad skin been removed. To have 6 incision around her body, and they implant the balloon on her back so they can extend the skin later on. The first night wasn't a pleasant night for her at all. She wake up at the pediatric PACU screaming, crying, until they give her some narcotic to calm her down. And we've been doing this since then. And all night we try to change her position because everything is in pain. When we try to change her position so she can face me, we moved all the bed and we can keep holding hand all night.
The first couple of weeks was pretty hard. She needs virtually 24-hour care, and she has to take medication every 6 hours, so Amal has to be up all night, basically, taking care of her. Giving her medicine, and she was in pain, and she needed somebody there, just like any child. And I remember after the first surgery, she woke up, she was calling, I guess, for her father or somebody. I don't think she was fully conscious at that time.
So those were the most difficult days, I would say, of the whole journey, is the fact that she had to prep her for surgery and watch her go through it. And then the recovery time was always a challenge because, of course, Farah is very flexible and running around and energetic. So to be confined to a stroller while she recuperates and takes medication was very difficult to see. And she loved the playground, she loved the water, she loved the sand, but she couldn't do any of it. She just sat there. So that was probably the most heartbreaking time, is when I just, she just sat there. And so I took her out of the stroller, I put her in my lap and just said, when you get better, we're gonna come back. And we did. It was probably about 2 weeks later, took her back, and she finally recognized the difference between, I'm all better, she was telling me, and she was showing me how she was walking on both feet.
I try to teach her to be independent and to trust me. The main issue is here, the trust. The trust, and don't lie to a child. Children can remember. So I never lied to her. I made her to trust me and trust my children and my husband, and we all faithful to her. If we tell her we take you to the mall or to the park, sure, we will take her to the mall, to the park.
3:30. With the balloon implanted in her back, Farah went to the doctor 3 times to get liquid injected to expand her skin.
Come on in here, let me look at you.
97. Then
All right,
we
let's
go
take a
up
look
to
at
101.
let's look at the expander and make sure that's not a problem, okay?
بس من أفرجي ظهرك. أفرجي ظهرك بس أفرجي ظهرك. أفرجي ظهرك. أفرجي ظهرك. لا بس يشوف ظهرك. بس يشوف ظهرك. اشرحي
So, Dr. Hall didn't expand it, right? Last week?
No. He just removed the dressing from her left thumb.
Is she on antibiotics at all or no?
Yes, please. I don't spoil her. I don't make her like she's special or give her full attention. No, because it's wrong. حسب رأيي. When she go there, they don't have this attention. Yeah. We print for her dad's picture. This way she can keep remembering him. وين البني؟ يلا. لا يا أختي أنتي. لا يا أختي. We talk about the aeroplane. She said aeroplane used to be something, it's bomb. Now we made her to think that aeroplane is for vacation and happy time. And I wanted to make her think about that too, that Gaza is a good place to go back, and hopefully it will be a good place for her to go and grow up and have her education there. Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Although Amal is Christian, she was mindful of Farah's Islamic faith and regularly took her to the mosque for Friday prayers.
وعلم آدم الأسماء كلها.
2 weeks before she was scheduled for a second surgery, Farah got an infection and had to be rushed to the hospital, and the balloon in her back had to be removed prematurely.
Turned the heater off, and she stopped walking. So over the weekend, she was with a friend. So I picked her up on Sunday evening, and she was with a high fever. She refused to take the supper, have her supper there. I took her home with pain. When I get home, I check her back, and I can see 3 dots, and it's really warm. I called Dr. Batra on his cell. We get there. He looked at her back. He said, it's infection. Take her to the ER, and we're going to have a surgery on her. Okay, here, Rania. Here, Rania.
Hello. Hello. Hi.
بصيها. إيش ماما? So the surgery was afternoon. Took about an hour and a half. Yes, Elby. Hour and a half, and they came back. They spoke to me and to my husband, and they said 75% skin extend they succeed to do. ناخده معنا على الدار. She doesn't want this to go home with us. We're going to have Wednesday. Okay, 3 days we'll be okay. هذا بخلي الكخة اللي في ظهرك يروح أو يروح. كل الكخة اللي هون بيطلع هون عشان نزته بزبالة. لكن بيضلوا في واوا ظهرك. عشان يروح الواوا بنحط هذا عشان يقيم الكخة. انبلا حبيبي. خلي لابسك كلسون جديد حلو. ونلبس الأواعي ونلبس هاي البلوزي. ونروح على الدار. عند عمو ميشيل عند عمو ميشيل. What I'm afraid because he said to me, we may need to put another extended bag again in her back. It's like, oh my God, they're going to open it and open and close it twice. So I'm afraid on that point, if they will do that, that's mean we have to go back like 2 months back with her treatment. The way she started was hard for her to walk and do all her activity. Since Thursday, I've been telling her we have to fix her legs. Dr. Hulse will take care of that, and she'll be ready to go back to Gaza, to her hometown. She's excited for that.
Most of the work we were able to do is here and the left thigh, and a lot of releases and improvement on the right leg. We weren't able to get a lot more out of here because it was just too tight. Really something we could do within the next immediate few months. Beyond that, we have to wait for her to grow and then see what's tight and what needs to be done.
ترجعي تنامي بالتخت؟ ايش مالك؟ ايش حكيني؟ واوا تخافيش بس اربط لك اجرك بس. احسن عشان ما يجيش عليها وسخ. عشان ما يجيش وسخ عليها يا حبيبتي. بتخافيش يا قلبي، فيش اشي بوجع.
You want a warm blanket? For the ride home or whatever? Thank you. You're welcome. Take care. Good night, you guys.
This past 8 months has been very touching to watch her grow, to watch her recover, and watch her develop. I mean, she's become her own little person, and she's become a part of us. So to see a part of you leave is very disheartening, especially to know the challenges that she'll face in the future. That's very sad as well.
For myself, it's going to be a bit difficult. You know, we got attached to her. We got a mixed feeling. You know, I want to go back to her family. We've been through her journey from the day she got here and watching the progress she went through. So I'm happy that she's going back. But on the other hand, just like be separate from her own child, so it's going to be a little difficult.
Thank you so much. Who got all the whole candy?
We've been talking about it since early June after she finished her last surgery. We said we have one surgery to go and then we go to Baba, which is her dad. And yes. By the time it's coming closer and we wanted her to be there before Ramadan. And every time we talk about it, she is pushing back. I don't think she is happy to go.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Farah. One more time.
Happy birthday to you.
I think my mother is very emotionally involved, obviously very attached in a motherly position. So as her primary caregiver, as far as I've seen, she's going to feel a bit of a loss, you know. Although she's had 3 children, you know, I'm being the eldest, and she's watched all of us grow and, you know, leave the nest at one point in time. This is a little bit of a different element. You know, this is a child that she actually watched go through trauma, go through surgeries, go through recovery, develop into a little, you know, young little lady.
Arbi. كمان أربي.
It's hard to see a child going away and you know he is not in his safe place. You know that Israelis can attack any time, even if our media doesn't cover what we see in Gaza, but it's attacking.
Hi, Farah.
And their house, it's on the border. From the windows, from the door, from the balcony, you can see Ashdod. You can see the air checkpoint. It's easy. Some sniper, Israeli sniper, can direct shoot to this house, and she can be on the steps out and down, or can be on the window, or maybe another bomb can come from the roof and just, you know, she is not in a safe place, and I'm afraid we lose Farah.
Bye.
When Farah left, I thought Amal would forget about her after some time. But this was not the case. I saw Amal constantly worrying about her well-being. Amal and her family had taken care of injured kids before, but she always said there was something different about Farah. Almost 3 years after saying goodbye to Farah, Amal hears the possibility of seeing Farah again. It took weeks for permissions to come through, but when things were confirmed, I called Amal immediately to share the news.
So we have the permissions and now we are going to buy the tickets.
Wonderful. So we are going.
With a mix of excitement and dread, we started the journey from California to Gaza.
What about if she doesn't remember me? Really, it's hard. Hopefully, what is it, Thursday? If we make it there, I hope she will remember.
After a layover in Los Angeles and in London, we finally arrived in Cairo late Friday evening.
Local time is 10 to 9 p.m.
In Cairo, we met up with the organizer of our trip to Gaza. I had thought it best to keep our trip a secret from Farah and her family.
And you told the family you are coming?
No.
Way to Gaza from Cairo will take 5 to 6 hours. If everything goes smooth in the borders there, in the crossing point, we will go to Gaza side early afternoon.
On our way to Gaza, we crossed the Sinai Peninsula and Suez Canal. As we approached the border area between Egypt and Gaza, I saw security vehicles in front and behind our bus.
That's a security?
Yeah.
After 6 hours drive and several rigorous checkpoints, our bus and the security vans made it to the Rafah border.
Give me your passports, please. Check your pocket.
Inside the Rafah area, cameras are strictly prohibited, and we used a discreet cell phone to capture this footage. As an international convoy with prior permissions, we waited for 3 hours to get clearance. For Gazans to get through, it could take much longer, or they may be turned away altogether.
Enter, out.
We got our visas, and I could hardly believe we had actually made it to Gaza. We arrived late at our hotel and could not go to meet Farah right away. She lives near the border with Israel, and we are cautioned not to venture that way at night.
Right now it's almost 9 p.m. and it's too late thinking about Farah. Too late to go see her, so I text him, "Oh, I didn't see Farah, but I will see you tomorrow morning."
Early the next morning, Amal drives towards Farah's home.
I believe this one. This is the house. This is the house. وين في الغيارات وين الأواعي.
As we approached the house where Farah and her family had experienced the huge tragedy, my pulse started racing. I remembered the front entrance from footage of the bombing.
لا عيانة ولا ترقص يا ولد. أمال
أنا خلته أمال.
يا ولد زعلانة عليها قد سلمي عليها بوسيها بس.
أنا خلته أمال.
يا ويلي قد
أنا خلته أمال.
يا ويلي.
فرح عرفتيني؟ قولي اسمي. لا قولي خلته أمال. علي صوتك.
خالته أمال.
مش سامعة.
خالته أمال.
ومين كمان في بتعرفي؟ مين عن خلته أمال بتعرفي؟ مين بتعرفي عن خلته أمال؟
يا ولد تدخل يا زلمة.
كنت عايزة مشان خلته أمال. رح نطلع على بارني. نحط على الكمبيوتر ونطلع على بارني. نعمل اكسرسايز. نروح على البارك ونروح على البيتش. تيجي معي؟
Our surprise visit had everyone, and especially Farah, in a bit of a shock. Since it was summer vacation, everyone was at home. Farah's stepmother Alia, her sister Aya, and her stepsisters Shahid and baby Dima.
أخذتي الشهادة؟ لا تشوفي الشهادة. أنت خلصتي الصف الأول. الحمد لله. يا شو لازم تنبسطي أنا جيت أزورك. فيك أكتر.
Farah's stepmother suggested they look at the album that had pictures of Farah with Amal and her family.
وين بتقعدي أنت نتفرج عليه؟ وين؟ افتحي فرجيني. افتحي فرجيني. إيه؟ إيش؟ فرح في ديزني لاند. دار ملبس.
It seemed like Farah was not remembering, and that was tough for Amal.
What did she say?
I wanted to go talk to my mom.
I realized at that moment that Farah had moved on in her life. She was no longer the little girl Amal had cared for, and the most important person in Farah's life now was his stepmother.
الكل برضه كده بيستغرب لما بيجي علينا صحافة كده الكل بيستغرب بيقول كيف انت غريبة من عيلة تانية وكيف هدول البنات كده جوه متعلقين فيك يعني لدرجة ما بروحوا عند رصيدهم امهم بتعلقوش كده فيها قبل فترة لما اجت قالت لي انت مديهم كل حنان امهم واكتر يعني ما فيش حدا بيهتم فيهم قد
Alia had married Farah's father a few months after Farah's own mother's death in the bombing. I was surprised to see her so attached to Farah.
لا كان مع محمد بنتين من اللي امهم توفت وانا جبت بنتين كنت يعني اول ما اتجوزت اني كنت اني انا اخاف كنت لما اجي احمم هذه البنت كنت اخاف الاقيها كامله محروقه دائما اتعيط خلص امهم توفت شهيده ونصيبي عند الله خلص شفت نصيبه وخلص الحمد لله يعني انا من كنت وانا خاطبه كنت عادي زي اي بنت كنت فرحانه بعد ما اتجوزت خلص حملوني هذه المسؤوليه كان محمد دائما يقول لي إلك الأجر عند الله. قالت لي يا ماما إني أنا مش مصدقة إن هي هذه خالته أمل، هي هذه خالته أمل كنت عندها، بقول لها يا ماما. يعني بعد كده اقتنعت، لقيت صدقت، لقيت بتقول بدي أروح معهم على أمريكا يعني.
أمل إزاي هيك؟
ازعجي خالته أمل يا فرح. قول لها يلا وين حبيبي؟ يلا روح.
هلا بدي أفقده. يا حبيبتي يا حبيبتي.
هذا الفوسفور بكبر الأنار.
ما أحلاكي.
كلمة تعالي.
إيش؟
كلمة تعالي.
أجي لوين؟
Farah had grown up so much in the last 2.5 years. She was fully aware of the reality of her life in Gaza. But it was hard to judge how much Farah remembered of her time in San Diego. Amal was visibly depressed after visiting Farah.
Honestly, I wish I didn't met her. Honestly.
Farah lived in a house full of people. She was no longer the only child being cared for by many adults in Amal's home. She was one of 4 children being cared for by an only mother and lived in an extended family of uncles and cousins, and often helped out with chores and taking care of the younger ones.
I don't know. I didn't feel love. When you hug them, they don't hug back. When you kiss them, they don't kiss back. I feel like, I don't know. I wasn't happy, I tell you. I was excited to come, but when I saw the situation, no. No, she's a victim. She's a victim.
HIJKUNOTQRSTUV.
Amal tried ways to bring back the cheerful little girl who had sung Barney songs and filled her shirt with candy on her birthday in San Diego.
Next time, won't you sing with me? مش متذكرة. بكرة الجمعة والسبت والحد. أوكي؟ مش سامعة. أوكي؟ أوكي؟ أوكي. هاي غزاوية. هاي غزاوية.
It broke my heart to see Amal's pain.
No, body language. It's not the same. It's painful to me. It's very painful to me.
But was it really fair to compare Farah's life in America to Farah's life in Gaza? And that is exactly what Amal was doing.
She had opportunity to have a better life, better education.
Did you talk to her father about her going there?
No, it's not my right to talk about it.
أهلين، شو أخبارك؟ كيف حالك أنت؟ الحمد لله.
Farah's father was still a young man, but he had gone through a tragedy few can even imagine. In the attack on his house, he lost his father, 3 brothers, a sister, and his wife, and saw his child get hurt in the most brutal ways. After the bombing, he had sent Farah away for treatment and rebuilt his house and his life. I saw him resilient, determined to strive for a living and to provide for his family as best he could. He owned a small piece of land that he farmed with his brothers, providing barely enough for their combined families. He was attentive and affectionate towards everyone, and especially towards Farah.
فرح والله الواحد ما عارف ايش اللي يصير فيها يعني حالتها بالمره يعني محروقه مش عارف اما لما تلبس خواتها تلبس خواتها الشورت بتقول يا ماما انا بدي زي ما قلبي بتقول يا بابا يا ماما ما بينفعش.
There was no trace of depression or bitterness, just an amazing strength.
طب انتوا ما فكرتوا تبيعوا الارض وتبيعوا
لا احنا ما بنطلعش من الارض. الارض لا هذه بنضلنا فيها احنا هنصمدين الارض.
هيك عادات وتقاليد البلد هون ما حد بيبيع.
لا
حتى لو فلسطيني ثاني
حتى لو بدنا نموت فيها نحن ما بنبيعهاش ما احنا.
There is no way they can sell 1 inch of their land.
Farah.
Yet Amal was not satisfied with the care Farah was getting, especially her physical injuries.
بعده بيجعك الإصبع؟ حكيني ما تخافي مني مش رح أنا أعمل إشي أنا بس بدي أطمن. بيجعك؟ لا. في إشي بيجعك هون ولا هون؟ Oh, I can feel it. Yeah. Heel and the thumb. Not in good condition. She need more plastic surgery done, which is we can avoid the plastic surgery if it's more attention from the parents as therapy, which is massaging the area with the lotion and make the skin be more smooth and soft. عملت بهاي الفترة بس خبرني بدي أطمن أنا بدي قلبي يهدى.
كان عملوا لها عمليات شو اسمه مساج في تدليك
تدليك اوكي تدليك يا كانت تروح على مصحة تعمل وانتوا بالدار كنتوا تتابعوا كل يوم. She's been traumatized for a long time. She needs some social worker to go at least twice a month to talk to her one-to-one and to talk to the family around her one-to-one. عشان بس عيد بعد عيد رمضان.
Amal gave out the gifts she had so lovingly bought for the children. She took special care to explain to the children how to use their imagination with the paint box.
تركز في عقلها وتقول أنا بدي أرسم هيك أو هيك أو هيك. بتذكري كنا نرسم وهذا بينك وبينها.
And it brightened everyone's heart to see the little ones so excited. It is true that there was no trauma therapist coming to heal Farah and her family. Yet I saw contentment in that home and wondered how people who had lost so much found a way to live on and smile. Amal had said Farah is a victim. Was she a victim of her family's economic condition or a victim of the war with Israel? As we drove back to our hotel, I learned that Farah lives in a small town called Beit Lahia, a poor farm locality on the outskirts of Gaza. There are no paved roads and no playgrounds. Although Farah's home is on the border, the entire Gaza Strip is in a war zone. Since 2006, when Hamas won the legislative election and became the governing body in Gaza, Israel and the international community has imposed collective punishment on the people of Gaza in the form of blockade, restricting the movement of goods and people through land, sea, and air. This has created an economic crisis, with 80% of Gazans being dependent for food on UN aid. With an average birth rate of 6 children per woman, Gaza population has reached alarming levels, and the infrastructure of Gaza cannot support its people. More than 20% of the population lives in extreme poverty, and this is expected to get much worse over the years. Unless peace prevails and the blockade is lifted, there is no likelihood of life getting better for the people of Gaza or for Farah.
She's getting upset because, you know what, let's take both together.
Amal wanted to bring Farah to the hotel to have time alone with her. When Aya started to cry, Amal didn't have the heart to leave her behind. The luxury of the hotel room was something new for Farah and her sister.
I believe this is the first time they go on the elevator and to go to my bedroom, jumping on the bed and sleeping in the bed. It's like they never slept in a bed. And they were hungry. They took whatever there to eat. They are hungry. تتعلم إنجليزي بالمدرسة؟
At the hotel, Amal connected with her husband, Michelle, in San Diego on Skype.
Let's make it bigger. هلا شوف الموتوسيكلات شفت الموتوسيكلات تبعك؟
الو الو الو
هلا هلا أعطيني موز.
هذا مش موز، هذا تليفون، هذا تليفون.
لا مش تليفون.
هذا تليفون لونه اصفر.
لا موز.
Michelle showed Farah her old bike and sang goofy songs from their time together in San Diego. And suddenly, Farah started to remember.
أنا الدكتور الشاطر.
بشفي كل العيانين.
بشفي كل العيانين. واللي راسه وجعه.
أعطيه حبة أسبرين.
أعطيه إيش؟ حبة إيش؟
حبة أسبرين.
أسبرين.
أوه أنا كمان بدي وردة، أنا بدي وردة.
Farah's happy smile showed that the child in her was still alive. And Amal had once again succeeded in bringing happiness into her life.
I want it to stimulate her memory. It seemed like it worked.
It did work. It did work.
I'm listening what they're talking to each other.
And for the first time in many days, I saw Amal laughing.
Listen to it. Now I'm happy for today. ضل شاطرة بالحكي هاي.
يعني عندك بتسووا زي كده زي ما قلت لكم خلطوا امال نسمع الكلام.
بنسمع الكلام وبنتخانقوش والكل، فأنا إذا بتسمحي لي
تفضلي
بتساعديني بننزل الشنطة يطلعوا الألعاب يلعبوا فيها كل الأولاد لو إنه على هذا الأرض هون نلعب إذا خربت ألعابهم عمرها الأولاد لازم يلعبوا بألعاب. إيش حبيبتي؟
بقول لك خالته طلع على امريكا اخر مره اللي تشوفيها يعني.
انا بدي اسال. باي حبيبتي. انا انبسطت اني شفتك وحكيتي معي. فرح انا بدي اتركك واروح.
يا انت مرام الواحد ما شبع منك.
بخاطرك بتكوني شاطره في المدرسه.
طوليش علينا
تصيري دكتورة إن شاء الله. أيوة بدك تصيري محامية أنت إن شاء الله. إن شاء الله قول إن شاء الله. إن شاء الله. إن شاء الله بأمان الله. طب خاطرك يا جماعة.
خاطرك يا عم.
تسلم.
والله الواحد غير يشتاق لك يا مرام.
تيجي يا
طوليش علينا يا عم.
إن شاء الله إن شاء الله إن شاء الله يصير في سلام وأقدر أفوت عن طريق.
يا ريت.
Saying goodbye to Farah was very hard for Amal, and trying to level with her stepmom was frustrating. That day when Amal walked out of Farah's house, I felt she may be walking out of Farah's life. Just then, an amazing thing happened. Farah ran down to our car to say a final goodbye to Amal. Amal's joy cannot be described in words. It felt like in that moment when Farah spontaneously expressed her love for Amal, she forgot all her frustrations and vowed in her heart to keep trying to make Farah's life better.
She came to the car. That was good.
Although Farah may have forgotten moments of her 9-month stay in San Diego with Amal and Michelle, she knew these people had a special place in her life. Amal did not care that Farah is living in a war zone, or how the Palestine-Israel war erodes the rights of everyone, especially the rights of children. All she wants is to see her Farah happy. Amal's heart is as big as the Gaza Sea that holds countless sorrows. In the last 6 years, Gaza has seen 3 wars and deaths of 3,000 civilians, including over 1,000 children. Yet, it finds a way to keep on living and to keep on loving. Just like the people of Gaza, their courage, strength, and dignity will always be for me examples to live by.